Hello and welcome to Who's Playing What Now? The board game countdown game show, which will probably be named something different next episode. But for now, let me tell you how the game works. We've compiled a list of the games that have been marked played most often on the BoardGameGeek website last month. The list is based on the number of unique players that have marked each game as being played. So not necessarily the number of games played, we're looking at the number of unique players. My guest contestant this time, Gary, is going to try and pick the top games off of this list, and each of his picks is going to increase the prize pool by half a cent for each unique player of that game. So the better Gary's guesses are, the larger the grand prize for a viewer is going to be. And this episode's prize is a gift certificate from Top Shelf Gamer, who specialize in component upgrades and extra bling for board games and tabletop games. The one-stop shop for tabletop pop. It's a marketing blurb so clever, I wish I had come up with it. Seriously, I'm pretty jealous about that. I'll provide all the details on how you can enter to win this episode's gift certificate at the end of the video. But for now, let's have a warm welcome for this episode's guest, Gary Pope.
Hey Chaz, how you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How have you been? What have you been up to? And what's something that you've played recently?
I've been doing great. Recently, I've actually been doing a whole bunch of side projects. I just played this the other day. I actually ran a demo of this, but I was playing Twilight Imperium 4. I got 4 people to sit down and do a demo of it. It lasted about 2 hours. We only played through 2 rounds. And I just love Twilight Imperium 4. It's one of my favorite games. The best part about Twilight Imperium 4, though, is that even though it does play better at the full player count, it's one of those games where it doesn't fall short when it's not. Like, if it's at 4 players, it's like, imagine a game at 95% rather than 100%. So it's not that far off. So it definitely is still a fun game, even at low player counts too, which in that game is 3 or 4, which is pretty average. So,
Gary, do you have your list of your top 10 guesses for the most often played games from the last 30 days?
Yeah, I have it right here, and yeah.
You actually have the opportunity to win a prize for a viewer.
So, but not for myself.
So yes, to clarify, great. It's a third guest that I've had to happen with. Are you ready to get started?
No, but let's do it anyways.
That's the spirit. That's all I can ask for. All right, so we're going to set our prize pool at its beginning value here. And Gary, let's get right in. What is your guess for the 10th most played game on your list?
For my number 10, I'm actually going to go with Lords of Hellas. If you've never heard of Lords of Hellas before, it's a typical dudes on a map game. But what makes this one a little bit different is that there's several different ways you can win the game. For one, you can actually just control areas. I believe you control 3 different districts you can win. Also, if you kill monsters, because there's a whole AI monster system in the game, if you kill 3 monsters, you win. Also, if you win by just controlling areas with temples, you win. And there's even just an end game winning point where it's just like, this game's taking too long, we're going to end it at this point, and whoever has a certain area wins the game. Ooh. So I think Lords of Hellas, and that game was released, I think Kickstarters started getting them around June, if I'm not mistaken. So I figured that this would actually have a decent amount of plays going into July, especially considering that I was trying to do a lot of research. Well, I didn't do a lot of research. Okay, I misworded that. I didn't cheat, Chaz. Trust me, I didn't cheat. But I was trying to think of what games came out in July, and Lords of Hellas was one of them, and it's one that's gotten a decent amount of buzz. So that's my number 10, though.
Lords of Hellas is... It was played in last month, but it comes in around number 150. With 346
wow.
different people marking Lords of Hellas as a game that they played last month.
Oh, wow. I would not have thought of it to be around that point. I would have thought it would have been much higher. As far as I'm aware, I believe even some people got their copies as early as, and this is not even just reviewers, this is like Kickstarter backers, got their copies as early as like April or something like that. So at the point, there's also probably potential that it got spread out over months as well.
It definitely could be. I am interested though because Lords of Hellas is one of those games that a lot of people seem to be talking about. So, and you mentioned that people are starting to get their Kickstarters. I'm wondering if it's going to actually start to go up the list in months to come. Maybe it's, maybe it's one that will build because a lot of people get it, and it takes, there's so much to the game. It takes a while to get it to the table, perhaps, and maybe actually will go up like next month and the month after that. So I'm not sure.
There's potential.
Let's move on to your number 9.
Okay, so number 9. My number 9 choice is going to be Kingdom Death Monster, and I would be pretty shocked if it was even in the top 100. If it is, whoa, that's mind-blowing. But the reason why I'm going with Kingdom Death Monster, actually, if you haven't heard of Kingdom Death Monster, it is, I guess, the closest thing you could get to an RPG while still being a board game, kind of, technically. Essentially what's happening is you're trying to survive. Literally, you're just trying to survive. You're just thrown into a pit, and you're just basically trying to survive it by building a settlement, fighting monsters, hunting them. And like I said, it's very close to an RPG, but it still maintains a board game aspect. The reason why I picked Kingdom Death Monster is that it's in July. It's a month before Gen Con. So I was figuring that people were probably starting to play Kingdom Death Monster again in order to get ready for all the Gen Con releases that they could get. It's a game that people are dedicated to. People play a lot when they own it. It's not one of those games where you own it and you just let it sit and collect dust on the shelf. You play that game. So, and it has a huge fan base. So that was my pick. Number 9, Kingdom Death Monster. And Chaz, please tell me it's even in the top 100. It's probably not, but is it?
Well, Gary, if on the bright side, you're being consistent. We're getting warmed up. We're getting into it. This is the inaugural episode of this, so we're working the kinks out, and that's totally fair. Kingdom Death Monster comes in around the 350th most often game played for the past month, with 165 unique users marking it as played.
I would have thought it was way more than 165. I mean, there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of extremely active people that play that game. I would have thought that game would have at least had like 400 or 500 log plays by different people, that is.
You see, you're on the right track, though, because while there are 165 different people that played it, those 165 different people marked 517 plays. Yeah, those 165 people played it a lot.
So I had the right mindset for it, almost.
All right, let's move on to your pick for the 8th, number 8 on the list.
Now, my number 8 pick is going to be one where, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they also released new copies in July as well, so this helps a lot. But my game is going to be Exit Series. Actually, no, sorry, I'm changing that. Chaz, I'm changing that. It's going to be Unlock.
Okay.
I don't think Exit released in July. I'm going with Unlock. I think Unlock released in July. Unlock is a escape room game in a box, and it's a one-time use game. You could play it in roughly about an hour, maybe a little bit more, depending on some of the scenarios. And it's a great alternative if you love escape rooms, but you either can't afford it or you just been to all of them in your area and you just need to find something else. It's a great alternative for that, and they keep pushing them out pretty consistently. Like I'd say 3 months is pretty accurate. 3 to 4 months they usually release like 3 copies. So it's a great game, but did it get a lot of plays, Chaz? That wasn't reassuring.
I'm going to give you credit for any game in the Unlock series, any one of them at all that comes up on the list. The highest ranking one out of all of them, and the highest ranking one is around 350, with 169 different people marking it as played, and the highest ranking Unlock game was Escape Adventures.
I thought that would have been 100% easily in the top 50. I thought so.
Now, that said, ignore everything that comes out of my mouth and you'll do a lot better.
All right. I'm going to go with Welcome 2. And the reason why I'm going with Welcome 2 is because it was a really big Origins release. It sold out, and then they even sold more copies at Dice Tower Con. A lot of people got to play during Dice Tower Con, and that was in July. And I'd like to think that a lot of people that go to Dice Tower Con are also people that record their plays. I'm guessing by how well I've been performing so far that this is probably a top. I'm going to say this is out of the top 300. Is that correct, Chaz?
You're starting to get the hang of it. You're honing in. Welcome to comes in at number 51. So you are
okay. So wait, the one I think is a stretch is actually.
Well, it's a win though. It's a win though, Gary. Let yourself enjoy the win.
Touche.
Yes.
Touche.
Welcome to comes in at number 51 for the month with 675 unique players for a total of 1,565 games of it logged.
Wow. Okay. All right. So every single one I'm completely doubting myself on is definitely going to be in the top now. Now that I think about it. Okay. Sweet. So I'm feeling way more confident about this now.
See, all it took was that one little piece of positive reinforcement, and now you have a total false sense of security going, which is exactly what I was hoping for.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's see if we can keep this train rolling with your pick for number 6.
All right, so my pick for number 6 is Terraforming Mars. Basically, what you're doing in the game is you are drafting cards to build, I guess you could say, your settlement on Mars and how you're going to terraform Mars. Various different things to different things. Like you can grow wildlife on the planet. You can raise the heat on the planet so it's more suitable for humans. You could throw a comet at the planet for, I don't know why and how you could throw a comet at the planet, but you could do that in the game. But Terraforming Mars was one of my picks where it was just like, yeah, if this one isn't on the list, then I'm just gonna cut the video at this point. But it also helps that it's having the Prelude expansion come out at Gen Con. So
Yes.
It's one of those things where I was thinking that people might be playing it again so they could get ready for the expansion. And but yeah, that's my pick though, Terraforming Mars.
Excellent pick. While it wasn't number 6, it is in the top 10 at number 2. This game continues to be played. We had 2,880 unique players logging 5,791 games of it last month.
And if Terraforming Mars is number 2, I think I know what number 1 is. I'd like to hope, but but wow, okay, I knew it was going to be easily in the top 10, but number 2, wow, I did not know it was getting played. I knew it was getting played a lot, but that consistently, wow, okay, that's crazy.
So excellent pick for number 6 there. Actually comes in at number 2, but that is going to win. That's going to increase the size of our prize pool right there, definitely. So let's see if we can do it again with your pick for number 5.
This one, I'm going to be honest, may still be a stretch, but I think this one has gotten enough plays that I think there's potential there because there's been a lot of buzz about this online and in the app world. And that is going to be, how do you pronounce this? Ganshong's Clever. This game has been blowing up in terms of the app version of the game. And I like to think that if even like 1% of the people that actually have played the game on the app form in July at least logged one of those plays, then this would easily boost it up into the top 50. I think this is a stretch, but I'm also kind of confident in it as well. Oh, by the way, Ganshong's Clever, I didn't even describe it, sorry, is a roll and write game.
That's the one with the little fox icons in it?
Yes, that's the one with the fox icons. I don't know why. Like you could mark an X in one space and it might chain react to another space, it might chain react to another space. But besides that, it's just a really solid roll and write game. I've been enjoying it a ton.
That was as close of a pick as you could have got. It comes in at number 11.
Are you serious?
I am serious. It's so close. With 1,341 unique players logging, get this, 7,699 games of it. So,
oh my God.
It is getting played, and it just skims the top 10 to come in at number 11.
I think I played that game in the airport a minimum of 20 times. A minimum. I think that's like really lowballing it. It wouldn't shock me if I played it 40 or so times. It wouldn't shock me. I literally did nothing but listen to podcasts and play that game. So,
it's a really good airport game.
Yeah, it's very good.
You're on a roll now. You got the momentum going. You can carry that momentum right into your pick for number 4.
This game was, if I'm not mistaken, it was released in Origins, and while it hasn't been getting, I guess you could say, a ridiculous amount of buzz, I feel like it's one of those games in which people are at least trying out a bit, and going with the same exact logic that went with Welcome to.
It worked so well for you then.
Yeah, exactly. That one worked pretty well for me. But I'm going to go with Century Eastern Wonders, if I'm not mistaken is the name of the title. I always forget the subtitles on games. If I'm not mistaken, the game was released at Origins. They also still sold copies of it during Dice Tower Con and everything like that. I saw a lot of people playing the game. It's got a lot of buzz. And obviously it's the spiritual successor after Century Spice Roads in the Golem Edition. So I would just assume that over the course of July, a really good amount of people play the game, and that is enough to put it in the top 50 at least. No, I think this should be a top 10 game, I think.
All right. Yes. So yeah, it actually comes in at number 17. Century Eastern Wonders had 1,098 unique players with 1,782 games logged.
All right. It's not bad.
Let's continue on to your pick for number 3.
So with number 3, I mean, this is one in which I was pretty confident would definitely be in the list because it's a game that's constantly been being played. It's one that hasn't, I guess I could say, has gotten table time over time, but this game's going to be Scythe. And the reason why I'm going with Scythe is not only because it's consistently getting played, it's consistently considered a very hot game, but also the expansion's coming out during Gen Con. So I'd like to think that before Gen Con, people are like brushing up on their Scythe again, even though people haven't stopped playing Scythe. So, but Scythe, basically what it is, I mean, everyone kind of knows what it is at this point, but it's an area control, for the most part, game in which you have 4 different actions you could choose, and you're basically doing those actions over and over and over again in order to gain more resources, build up these mechs in this farm world. It's a really crazy game, and it's no surprise that it's been around for this long.
Scythe, really good pick. It wasn't number 3, but it was in the top 10 at number 8 with 1,644 different players logging 2,707 games of it.
Now, that's a surprise. I mean, if Terraforming Mars got number 2, I would have assumed Scythe would have at least got number 5. It's just a game that's just crazy with the buzz. I mean, the Facebook group alone for the whole thing is just ridiculous. I mean, like have you ever seen the Facebook group, Chaz?
I haven't actually visited the Facebook group for Scythe. Is it active?
It's extremely active. I mean, Jamie can post anything. He could say, hey guys, I'm going to come out with these Scythe forks. And people will be like, oh my god, Jamie, please sell this thing. I want it. And it'll get a ton of reactions. And it's active. It's active.
That is probably, a contributing factor, definitely. And I think too, with the Rise of Fenris expansion, that expansion is actually like not necessarily a campaign, but it's at least episodic, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's technically a campaign, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. I don't know, but yeah, it's going to contribute a lot of multiple plays to Scythe. So yeah, it's going to get a lot of people a lot of plays in August. It wouldn't shock me if this jumped up to like number 3 or something like that.
I could definitely see that too. I could definitely see it jumping up with the expansions being released. We'll, I guess, find out in future episodes. But for now, actually, let's see what jumps in to the number 2 position this month. See if you have a guess for that one.
I'm trying to shoot for gold right now and get that number 1 pick. I think my number 2 pick, which is not the number 2 pick overall, is going to be Gloomhaven. And Gloomhaven is a dungeon crawl game. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't checked BGG in a little bit, but I'm pretty certain it's still the number 1 game out there right now. So a ton of people play Gloomhaven. It's surprisingly one that, I wouldn't say surprisingly, it's one that hits the table a lot, especially for its length and everything. But yeah, Gloomhaven is 100% on this list. I'm pretty certain of that. Just curious as to where.
All right, so your number 2 pick is Gloomhaven. Now, you're right. Gloomhaven has been number 1 on the hotness for 11 months in a row.
Wow.
But does that mean people are actually playing it or just talking about it? Well, It means they're playing it too, because that was a really good pick. Gloomhaven doesn't come in at number 2, but it comes in at number 3 overall.
Ooh, okay.
With 2,181 players. Dig this, playing 7,351 recorded games. So these people that are playing Gloomhaven are playing a lot of Gloomhaven.
Yeah, that's a ton. It's not like it's a short game either. It could get up there in the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what did I say about Gon's Sean Clever? That was number 11 on the list, and that's a little, 10, 15-minute dice game. That logged 7,699 plays. Gloomhaven is about as opposite from it as you can get.
Yeah, because Gonshan is like a 5-minute game on the app. I mean, if you're playing in person, it might be like 15 minutes or whatever. But and then Gloomhaven's what? If you are lucky, that game is an hour. So it's pretty crazy about the difference in times and just how many play.
So yeah, you scored big time with your number 2 pick of Gloomhaven right there. Really good pick. Let's see if you can bring this home with your pick for number 1.
Okay, so my number 1 pick, I'd be shocked if this isn't. I mean, if everything I've heard so far and this isn't the number 1 pick, I'd actually be kind of shocked. But I'm going with Azul, and Azul is it's an abstract game in which you're picking tiles from like almost kind of like a draft in the center of the table, and you're arranging it on your own board. Half of the fun of the game is just the aesthetics and how it looks, and it's just a game which I see played everywhere. Literally everywhere. I see it played at bar nights. I mean, it's such a simple, short game. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone's teaching their families this game, even if they don't play games normally. So, Azul, definitely my number 1 pick. I'm pretty confident on that one, except, have I even gotten a single one 100% right yet? I don't even remember. Did I? No?
Well, let's see how close you come with your number 1 pick. You nailed it, is Azul with 4,524 players, logging 10,999 games of it.
That's a lot.
So there you go. Gary, you came away from this. You started off, a little behind the 8 ball there, but you came and you more than made up for it. And you won a very respectable, commendable grand prize for one of our viewers. Gary, thank you so much for joining us. And where can people find you out on this worldwide internet?
Hey, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Late to the Table. It's basically tips and tricks on everything around the board game community, such as like what kind of containers to get, what kind of bags to get, also tips on like how to join a meetup group, how to create one, how to run one, etc. But not only that, I occasionally appear on the Dice Tower Network. And in the future, look out for me doing my top 100 list on there. I promised Tom I'd do it. And I am looking forward to creating that top 100 list. I have no idea how those guys do it every year. But totally looking forward to doing that. If you have ever watched any of their top 100 videos and you're just like, man, I want to make my own top 100 video, good luck. I commend you. I respect your decision. Have fun with it. So I'll leave it at that. So, thank you, though, for having me on the show, Chaz. It's been a ton of fun.
My absolute pleasure. I've been looking for an excuse for something to collaborate with you on for a while, and I thought that this was a great opportunity. So my pleasure to record this with you. It's always nice to see you. Okay, so if you would like to enter to win this episode's grand prize gift certificate, you can do so simply by commenting on this YouTube video using the hashtag #Who'sPlayingWhatNow. And in your comment, you could mention which game you've played the most often this past month, or which game on the countdown really surprised you, or suggest a better title for this show. I might actually even change it. Really, honestly, it really just depends how lazy I am when I put together the next episode. The winner of this episode's gift certificate will be randomly drawn from all eligible entries and announced on September 10th, 2018. But wait, there's one more thing. Commenting on this month's video will also enter you into the drawing to be the contestant that the guest is playing for next episode. So what we're going to start doing is we're actually going to announce who we're playing for during the episode, but we got to get one episode ahead. I think I mentioned that there's a few kinks to work out with this pilot episode. Anyway, so if you not only want to enter to win this episode's gift certificate, but you want to be entered into the drawing to be the contestant for next episode that we're playing for, be sure to comment on this video. And speaking of this episode, that pretty much wraps this one up. So until next time, take care and go play some games. 5, 4, 3.
2. Sorry, I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out.
Hypnotic, isn't it?
All right, so I'm going to be changing my entire list to euros. Give me 20 minutes, Chaz, and I'll update this list for you.
I'm going to award you half a point for that one, which doesn't really do any good, but it is a half a point there on your scorecard. So there you go.
It could cover taxes. Some taxes.
Yes.